Let me ask you something. Do you ever spend way too long trying to write the perfect email? Do you push yourself, and even the people around you, so hard that nothing ever feels good enough? You might think you just have high standards. But what if it's not high standards at all? What if it's perfectionism, quietly holding you back? Today, we're going to walk through 7 simple ways to overcome perfectionism. You don't need to use all of them, just find the ones that work for you. So stick with me till the end. Let's get into it. Number 1. Notice what's happening in your mind. Perfectionism doesn't show up all at once. It slowly slips into your everyday thoughts. That's why the first step is simply awareness. Pay attention to the moments when you feel like something has to be perfect. Notice the thoughts that come up, and if you can, write them down. For example, how do you feel when you start an important task? Do you feel overwhelmed before you even begin? Do you worry about how others will judge your work? Do you delay sending it because it doesn't feel ready yet? Here's the surprising part. Sometimes just noticing these patterns is enough to weaken them. Awareness takes away perfectionism's control. Number 2. Gently adjust your standards. For someone who struggles with perfectionism, this step can feel uncomfortable, even threatening. After all, perfectionists often take pride in their incredibly high standards. Letting go of them can feel like letting go of who you are. Letting go of perfectionism doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop exhausting yourself over every little thing. Adjusting your standards is about slowly increasing your tolerance for imperfection, not abandoning your standards altogether. A helpful way to start is by asking yourself one simple question. How much imperfection am I willing to tolerate? You can practice adjusting your standards in small, low-risk ways. For example, preparing a presentation in 1 hour instead of 3. Posting something without endlessly editing it. Or saying what you mean without rehearsing it over and over in your head. What you'll often discover is surprising. Most people don't notice the imperfections at all. And even when they do, they usually don't care. Number 3. Set realistic, human-sized goals. Perfectionists are famous for setting goals that sound impressive, but are almost impossible to reach. The problem isn't just that these goals are unrealistic. It's that they leave no space for mistakes. And here's the irony. When you don't allow yourself room to mess up, you usually end up making more mistakes, not fewer. So does that mean you shouldn't set goals at all? Not at all. It means you need to change how you set them. Instead of aiming for big, overwhelming outcomes, try breaking your goals down into smaller, achievable steps. And when you reach one of those smaller goals, pause, acknowledge it, reward yourself, even if the progress feels minor. That sense of progress matters more than you think. There's also something surprisingly powerful about writing your goals down. People who do this are far more likely to follow through, not because they're more disciplined, but because the goal feels more real and more grounded. Number 4. Avoid procrastination. When something feels too big, too heavy, or too overwhelming, it can completely freeze you. You know you should start, but instead, you put it off. You scroll. You distract yourself. You tell yourself you'll do it later. And suddenly, procrastination takes over. This happens to almost everyone. Not because they're lazy, but because starting feels stressful. Perfectionism already puts enough pressure on you. Some people try to fix this by pushing themselves harder. Others wait until the last minute and rush through things. Either way, it usually leads to more stress and more mistakes. A simpler approach is to make things feel smaller. Break what you're avoiding into tiny, manageable steps, so starting doesn't feel scary. And remember this, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. You can always adjust it later. Number 5. See the big picture. If you're a perfectionist, it's easy to get stuck in the details. Every small thing feels important, and everything needs attention. But here's the problem. Focusing too much on tiny details slowly drains your energy and time, especially when you already feel pressured. At some point, you have to step back and ask yourself, is this detail actually changing the outcome? Or is it already good enough as it is? After a while, putting in more effort doesn't give you better results. It just makes you tired. And when you stress over every little thing, finishing becomes harder. Sometimes doing something well is far better than trying to make it perfect. Number 6. Focus on what's working. Most of us are really quick to notice what went wrong. We replay mistakes in our head and focus on what could have been better. And yes, making mistakes is normal. But that's only part of the story. It's just as important to notice what you did right. For every mistake you catch, try to also find 1 or 2 things that actually went well. That critical voice in your head may never fully disappear. But you can balance it with a kinder, more supportive one. This matters when you're dealing with others too. People grow from feedback, but they also need appreciation. When you point out what's working, people feel seen. And when people feel appreciated, they're more motivated and far less stressed. Number 7. Let yourself make mistakes. Making mistakes is not a failure. It's part of learning. You simply can't grow or get better without messing up along the way, even if that's hard to accept. Think about it. You try something new, it doesn't go the way you planned, and immediately that inner voice shows up. Why did I do that? I should have known better. For many people, that voice is harsh and unforgiving. So allowing yourself to make mistakes can feel uncomfortable, or even wrong. This is where self-compassion really matters. When that inner voice starts tearing you down, try to respond differently. Instead of attacking yourself, pause and say, "Okay, that didn't work. What can I learn from it?" You don't need to punish yourself to improve. Being kind to yourself doesn't make you lazy. It makes it easier to move forward. You're human, and making mistakes is part of being human. Being a perfectionist isn't easy. It doesn't just make work harder, it also takes the joy out of life. You don't need to apply everything at once. If you try even a few of these strategies, especially the easier ones, you'll notice a difference. The pressure starts to lift, stress eases, and you begin to feel better. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I'll see you in the next video.